Alright, so Big Brother is watching. You may have heard that probably thousands of times before in public. Really what that means is that Big Brother, the government, or some other person that's watching over you, they're watching over you. You really have no privacy. Well, that's from a book that was made into a movie called 1984. In fact, that's actually one of my favorite books of all time. Well, that's really never been more applicable to now, to modern times. We've found out from leaks that the NSA has done a surveillance program, and this surveillance program is pretty much all-reaching and overreaching for what the government constitutionally can do. Really, to understand why this is all going on, you just got to go back to September 11th, 2001. With the 9/11 attacks, after that, a lot of bad things happened, but mostly there was a lot of fear-mongering. A lot of the American people, they feared Middle Eastern people, they feared if there were going to be more attacks, they feared loved ones dying, and altogether it was a really bad time around 2001 and for a couple years after that. So with that, many politicians, this is a bad thing to say, but many politicians would, to take advantage of this and use it for their own gain, they would use fear-mongering. They would say, to prevent terror attacks, terror on airplanes with the TSA, terror on any form of transportation or whatever, it was worthwhile to infringe your rights when you're trying to board an airplane, or infringe upon your rights when you're trying to go to another country, or just when you're using the internet. And that's really where it starts to take place in now with the NSA, which is the National Security Agency. After those attacks, George Bush authorized the surveillance program from the NSA. And they would basically watch over everything. They have the ability to watch over your text messages, your phone calls, well, you're from incoming to see who's calling, to outgoing to see who it's going to. They can see all of your MMS messages. So any picture or video that you send to somebody, your friends, your family, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, a lover that you're having an affair with, with your wife, all of that is being monitored and watched right now. They can see all of it. They can see the entire contents of your text messages, and they can see the metadata of your phone calls. Metadata would be the time that it's received, the time that it was sent, the ongoing, anything like that, they know. And they don't do it to 100% of everybody, but they'll do it to the majority of American citizens and citizens outside the United States. Basically, they have a system that goes, if you are the friend of a suspected terrorist, basically three people out, 3 degrees of separation, they are going to be watching over you. And it doesn't take much. If you are shown that you are a foreign speaker, if you are shown that you are using a proxy or a private network to be able to watch, say, the World Cup streaming from a different country, because maybe Univision.com shows a little bit more coverage or different coverage than ESPN would show, they're going to be watching over you. You are going to be in their net, and their net covers a lot of people, billions. In fact, they can actually hold and store your geolocation data, which means, say you checked into Dairy Queen, or you are on a trip to Venezuela. You are going to be in their net, and they will be watching you. Just because they use the excuse that it's going to be for the purpose of preventing terror, or potential attacks, or if you're somebody that could be a threat to the United States, or anything like that, you are 100% going to be under their net. And to me, that seems crazy. That seems insane, absurd. More than anything else, that seems completely and 100% unconstitutional. The way things should work is that you have a certain right to privacy, unless you've shown that there is a potential reason, a potential threat that you may pose, but really just a reason for why you are going to be a threat, or why you should be surveilled by the government. It doesn't make sense to me that they can just say, well, oh, he went onto a website for political dissent, or that he just that he doesn't agree with the current administration, which they've shown that they monitor those people. So say that you don't agree with the Obama administration, they're watching you, and you are on a potential list of political activists, and it's shown that the government doesn't really like political activists regardless of the administration. So this is a big thing. It's basically a huge extension of the United States Patriot Act, which could collect phone calls and wiretap you. This is way overreaching. It can do so much more, and that's a huge deal. So I've talked about the NSA. I've talked about their wide net of everything that they do, and I haven't talked to you about what gives them permission. Initially, I told you that it was started after the 9/11 attacks. George Bush Jr. Gave them permission to do that, and I guess to some extent it made sense directly after the 9/11 attacks. 9/11 was a really scary time. For years after that, it was really scary. We didn't know what was going on, or if there was going to be more attacks. We really weren't given a lot of information, more intelligence by the government, and so many people were scared for their lives, for their loved ones, for the police, firefighters. It was just an uncertain time. So it made sense that we wanted to maybe wiretap certain people that were known terrorists or suspected terrorists. But from 2001 to 2014, some of this should have been taken down a notch, in my opinion. So the FISA courts were something that were talked about, and the FISA courts basically were a branch of secret government made in secret, and they were made by the NSA, and they're supposed to be the overseers of the NSA and their surveillance program. Every 90 days, they approve or disapprove of the surveillance program. The thing is, if you're started by the people that you're supposed to be overseeing, that's not really a lot of oversight. And the FISA court, since 2007, has said yes. They've approved of the surveillance program every 90 days since 2007. That is a huge deal. So since this is all in secret, the only reason that we know is because of a defense contractor that was a contractor for the government who knew about all of this for years, and he hated the idea. So he spent years gathering information and intelligence, all to leak it all at once. And he leaked this information, and his name was Edward Snowden. Many people call him a traitor. Personally, I would call him a hero. I know that's a very controversial thing to many people. It may be controversial to many of the people that are watching this speech, but I don't see that as a traitor. I see that as a hero, because he unveiled something that was clearly illegal, clearly unconstitutional. The government has no right to be watching over all of these things. We have a right to privacy. It's granted by our 14th Amendment. It's granted by our 1st, our 3rd, our 9th Amendment. In the Bill of Rights, it says we have a right to privacy, and we have a right to no search and seizure without a warrant. They are searching through all of our data, things that are personal and private to us, and there's no reason that should happen. So I'm just trying to make the point across that this is clearly unconstitutional, and you should be 100% against this. Some people would argue that, well, I don't care, it doesn't affect me, it doesn't matter to me because I haven't done anything wrong, I'm clearly innocent. Well, I have one quote for you that should sum this up pretty well. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Benjamin Franklin said that, and it's never been more clear and never been more applicable than it is now. Thank you.